welcome to my channel on the best of fantasy. These are the weeks that were, are, and shall be. It's been a little while since I've done one of these little update, what I'm up to sort of videos, and I have a lot of exciting things to share, including a cover reveal, not one of my books, but a book that I am very excited for, so that in just a moment, but first a little bit of news. I want to first thank all you people out there who have been reading the Adan Trilogy. All 3 books are out, and I am so humbled and delighted and grateful for the response. It's been fantastic to hear from people, to read reviews. I really want to thank you guys for the reviews on Goodreads and Amazon and in various other venues. So I just cannot express my gratitude enough for that. That makes a huge difference to every author, especially a self-published author like myself. Having people spread the word, that is the main way we can get our books out there. So I am very, very grateful to all of you for that. And yeah, I also have some audiobook news. I did get to hear a sample of The Way of Adan as narrated by Alan from the Library of Alexandria, and let me tell you, I think this is going to be brilliant. Alan is going to have so many great voices. This is going to be a fun narration. I do not have a release date yet. I cannot tell you exactly when it's going to be out, but I think Alan is rolling now, and I believe it is going to be wonderful. So I will tell you all exactly when I know when the release is going to happen. As soon as I know, I will be shouting about the release of the audiobook for The Way of Adan. And I believe that once Alan has done The Way of Adan, the other 2 audiobooks are going to come pretty quickly, relatively quickly afterwards. So we shall see, but I will keep you informed. Another piece of news for the channel is that I'm going to have a big change here. So you won't be seeing this background anymore or any of the other backgrounds that I have in my videos. I am going to have a dedicated space for my YouTube channel in my basement. So I'm going to have a nice little space. It's in the process. I'm in the process of making it. I'm very excited for it. It probably will be a couple weeks before it is ready, but I will be sharing that with you when it is there. So yeah, so be on the lookout for that. And what else is going on? I think that's enough news. Let's get to this cover reveal. So, this is a cover reveal for Bold Ascension, Book 2 of the Sundered Nation Trilogy by Vaughn, Roycroft, and Book 1 was, of course, The Severing Sun, one of my favorite self-published fantasies. The art on The Severing Sun and on Bold Ascension is by John Anthony DiGiovanni. And also, in Bold Ascension, there is going to be a lovely map getting its very own reveal. I won't be revealing the map. That's going to be done by the person who made the map, none other than Jack Shepard, the person who made the map for my trilogy as well. So, let's get to the cover reveal. Here it is in all its glory, Bold Ascension by Vaughn Roycroft. And now that you've had a good look at that, I also happen to have the very first arc of Bold Ascension, so you can see what it looks like with the typeface and all. Bold Ascension, Vaughn Roycroft. Isn't that a beauty? There is the spine, and here is the back. So just some lovely, lovely stuff. I am so excited to read this book, and in fact, I'm going to be chatting with Vaughn on mid-November, just in time for the release date of November 14. So this beautiful book is going to be out on November 14. I'm very excited. John Anthony DiGiovanni has done a magnificent job on the covers of both books, Severing Sun and Bold Ascension. This is obviously I think I know who the person here is. And if you've read The Severing Sun, you probably have a good guess. But I'm excited to find out. And this is going to be a great read. I'm going to have fun talking with Vaughn about the second book in his trilogy, the Sundered Nation Trilogy. Other news that I have, I'm going to be finishing the first phase of SPFBO very soon, and I'm very excited about that because that means I'm going to be picking my finalists. That's right. I started with 30 books that I am judging, and I've whittled them down. I am going to be sharing my 5th semifinalist on a video on Saturday, and then I'm going to, in the same video, announce which of the 5 semifinalists is in fact my finalist to go up against the 9 other finalists that have been chosen for SPFBO. And among those 10 finalists, there will be one winner. Now, on the channel, I've been up to quite a lot of stuff. I'm going to go over this quite quickly because it's been a while since I have done one of these videos. So here we go. On the channel, I had an episode of Dear Dr. Fantasy with Claudia, and that was a lot of fun. She is a wonderful Malazan reader. She has some great interviews with Steven Erikson on her channel, and she has some great thoughts about Malazan. Just stuff, great theories, some deep dive type stuff. Really wonderful chat. And I have, what else have I been up to here? Oh, the Wheel of Time. I had a great time chatting on the Wheel of Time with A.P. Canavan from A Critical Dragon. We had a series of videos. I fielded the odd-numbered episodes on my channel, and AP hosted the even-numbered episodes on his channel. And so we covered all 8 episodes, had a marvelous time with that. Even enjoyed some of the slightly upset fans of the books who don't appreciate the show very much. So there were some fun interactions there. I think we all sort of try to support each other around here. That's what we do. And let's see what else. I finished Book of the New Sun, and it was a very, I would say, challenging but positive experience. And I am going to as well have a final chat. Now, I had 3 chats already with Paul Williams and Matt from Matt on Books. And Matt is not going to be joining us for the final discussion. He has other priorities that he is taking care of in his life right now, so he will not be joining us for that final discussion, and we all wish him the very best, of course. But we are going to continue with the discussion. The show must go on. So Paul and I are going to be joined by none other than Jared Henderson, who is a big fan of Book of the New Sun. And so I'm very excited for that discussion. That is something that's going to be happening toward the end of this month. The video might come out even early November-ish. But yes, that is happening. And what else is going on here? Oh, yes, of course, I'm doing my To Your Eternity manga discussions with Murphy. Those have been going on, and they will continue as well. We're nearly halfway through the series at this point, and it's been... there have been moments where I felt a little bit like an old dog trying to learn a new trick here, reading this. I would say this is the manga that is geared toward the youngest age range, maybe, that I have read so far. The ones that I've read were probably a little bit more mature. But I have enjoyed aspects of this series a lot, and there's a really interesting exploration of mortality going on in this story that I feel like could go some very interesting places. So I am eager to see where that goes. And I have also been, as I said before, I've been very active for the SPFBO videos, and I am going to be putting out my final one for the first phase, and then of course I have to read all the finalists before the final deadline, which is sometime next year-ish. April, maybe? I can't remember. March, April, something like that. But I'm looking forward to that very much. Also, I had one of the, I think, most exciting things that's ever happened on the channel for me is that I had the opportunity to speak with Tom Shippy, the scholar of Tolkien and medieval stuff. He has produced a magnificent translation of Beowulf, and I had the privilege to talk with him about his translation that he collaborated with Leonard Nydorf, another very accomplished medievalist. And they have produced this wonderful translation of Beowulf. I am probably going to try to teach this translation from now on, because I do believe that it is the translation that gets closest to the heart of what I think the Beowulf poet was probably trying to say. So if you can't read it in Old English, read Tom Shippey's translation if you want to get to the heart of the matter. And I also had a discussion with, speaking of Jack Shepard, I had a discussion with him on maps and cover design. He is making available the maps that he has designed for sale on his website. We had a great discussion about that. But the majority of the video was taken up looking at how he designed the covers for the Adan Trilogy. And he walked us through a little bit of he simplified like 600 steps to 4 steps, basically, while talking with me. But it was kind of cool to get a little behind the scenes look at how the cover for Return to Adan was produced. So that was a lot of fun to talk with Jack. And speaking of the Adan Trilogy, I have been having these discussions with some of the kind folks who have been reading and reviewing the Adan Trilogy. And I had a couple of those discussions are out already. The first one was with Mary from Mary Reads to Live, and Jared from The Fantasy Thinker, and John Luke, who currently does not have a YouTube channel, but I would not be shocked if he eventually decided to start one, and I bet it would be a brilliant one. So yeah, I was very, very privileged to be able to speak with the 3 of them. And then I had another one with another great group of people. And this second one included Big Al from Big Al Does BookTube, and my friend Trevor, my best friend from high school. So yes, he has some nice stories about me from those days. Fortunately, he did not embarrass me too much while we were having our discussion. Completing our crew for that discussion was Daniel Klauser, who is might be a name that you recognize. He is somebody who is active on BookTube, not with a channel, but he participates in a lot of live streams, and he gives some really great comments, and he has given me some really insightful reviews for which I'm incredibly grateful, and all 3 of them contributed magnificently to that discussion. And I will be continuing to have these discussions. They are not going to be, I know already, my most watched videos on the channel. Not now anyway, but maybe, who knows, in the future. So maybe these videos will have some long-term value, I hope. But there are quite a few of them scheduled, I'm excited to say. And the next one, I think it's okay to announce, is going to be with John Morrow, who has appeared on my channel before for Dear Dr. Fantasy. He is a brilliant, brilliant reviewer. He writes for Grimdark Magazine and Before We Go blog. He's just a really, really, really deeply insightful person. And literature is not even his main field. He's more of a sciencey guy. He actually designs award-winning glass products and stuff. So yeah, he's a brilliant guy. And also, I'm going to be joined by Angela from Do Unicorns Read in this discussion, and I'm very excited about that. She has given some very insightful reviews of the first 2 books, and I know she is reading the 3rd, so I'm really excited to hear what Angela thinks about Return to Adan. And joining those 2 and myself will be Mark Lawrence, the author. Mark Lawrence, who has actually reviewed the first 2 books. And I'm incredibly excited to be able to sit down with him, one of my very favorite authors of all time, and talk about my books. That might be slightly intimidating, actually, but I asked for it, so here it comes. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. And I did a lot of stuff elsewhere on BookTube. I had a discussion about Beowulf, another discussion about Beowulf. This one was with Craig from the Legendarium, and that was really great. It was my first interaction with Craig. Great guy. I had a wonderful time chatting with him and just nerding out about Beowulf and Tolkien and fantasy. So that was a lot of fun. I also had, speaking of the Legendarium, I also had a wonderful chat about The Prophet of Adan, my second book, with the Green Team from the Legendarium. And those three have been discussing the books with me, and I believe they are also discussing among themselves Return to Adan, and I will be, I hope, having the opportunity to chat with them about that as well. But that's a really great podcast, the Green Team of the Legendarium. And I also had, speaking of a Prophet of Adan discussion, I had another one of those with a great group of people, and they would be Joanna, who hosted the discussion, and Murphy and Jimmy. So that was a lot of fun, of course, knowing that crew. And speaking of those devils, I also had a discussion with the three of them, plus Alan, about Stoner by John Williams. And that video appeared on Alan's channel, Library of Alexandria. And let's see what else. By the way, I did enjoy Stoner a lot. I didn't make any videos about it for my channel, but it was a brilliant book. Absolutely brilliant, and kind of eerie at times, because Stoner is not just an academic, but he's also an English professor, but also a medievalist. So a little close to the bone in some ways. I'm pleased to say that my life is not exactly like Stoner's, though. Although, he lived, I think, a good life overall. Well, no spoilers, but yeah, it's a bit sad at times. So, yes, what else? Oh, Motley Crue. I was on Motley Crue with Tori over at Tori Talks. That was a lot of fun. We talked about writing and booktube and reviews and all kinds of stuff. So that was a lot of fun, a great honor and privilege to get to chat with Tori, who also has a book coming out soon, and that's very exciting. And I was in a discussion about War Host of Vastmark by Jenny Wirtz. It's the third book in the Wars of Light and Shadow. And that was with AP and Joanna, and we are continuing with that discussion series. We're going to be doing the fourth book, probably in late November. So I'm very excited. That has been brilliant so far. Jenny Wirtz can write. I think that the Wars of Light and Shadow, at the end of the day, I'm anticipating that it is going to be among my very favorites. It is just, it is top tier stuff. It's amazing. So I'm excited to continue in that series. Also had a chat with Jared Henderson on his channel. It was a lot of fun. I was there ostensibly to talk about Malazan, but we talked about a whole bunch of other stuff. And a talk about nothing with Mike over on Mike's book reviews. Always fun to chat with Mike. What am I reading? What am I going to be talking about? Well, here we go. I am halfway through The Fall of Babel by Josiah Bancroft. This is book 4 in the Books of Babel. This is the one that I was very curious to get to, because apparently there are some people who don't like it as much as the first 3 books. And then there are people who love it. So far, I'm halfway through. So far, I am firmly in the camp of people who love this book. I don't know what happens in the second half, but right now, this is fantastic. Josiah Bancroft is one of the most talented writers out there right now, and I think he has really done some amazing stuff in the first half of this, so let's see where it goes. I'll be curious. I'm very curious. Based on some of the reactions I've seen. So yeah, we'll find out. I also need to finish Jade War. This is the one that I got stalled on a while back, and hopefully we're going to get that crew back together, reading or discussing rather the Greenbone Saga. But I need to finish it regardless, and I've got about a third of it left. So that is going to happen, I hope. And then, of course, my Robin Hobb Realm of the Elderlings read. I need to finish this before the end of this month. So I don't know, depending on how fast I get through The Fall of Babel, I might actually read this before I finish Jade War, but we'll see. But because I'm going to be talking with Mike. Now, Mike and I have been reading Realm of the Elderlings together this year with the intention of finishing by the end of the year. This is the final book in the Rain Wilds Chronicles. I am excited, actually, to get to the end of it. I thought Rain Wilds Chronicles, the first 3 books, were actually great. I mean, they're not top. They're not the best books in the Realm of the Elderlings. They're not the best that I've read by Robin Hobb, but they're not that bad either, So I guess, if you're comparing something to the greatness that is the Tawny Man trilogy or, you know, the other trilogies, then yeah, maybe Rain Wilds is not, you know, as up there for me, but I loved it, you know, and it's been a lot of fun, and didn't hit the emotional heights or depths that the other trilogies did for me, but it's still very readable and enjoyable. So I'm going to be talking about where we are now in the realm of the Elderlings with Mike at the end of the month. And this is before we enter the final trilogy, the Fitz and the Fool trilogy. To just kind of take stock. We were having these wonderful discussions with a great group, including Scott, and we had Jake, and we had Madison, and we had, at times, Derry also came in there. But, you know, these discussions are very hard with 5+ people to schedule, so it just sort of petered out, I guess. But I thought to myself, you know, I really, because Mike and I are reading this together, we've texted occasionally, you know, to share our thoughts, but I haven't had a chance to really just sit down with Mike and talk about the series, really. So I said, Mike, why don't you come on over and we'll do that. So I'm really looking forward to chatting with Mike about basically all of Realm of the Elderlings up to Fitz and the Fool. And the last thing I have here on my little table to remind me that I need to get to is the Sandman. Varsha from Reading by the Rainy Mountain and I had a discussion on the first, what was it, 8, I think, episodes. You can see it's been a little while, so I need to get back to that. I really enjoyed it a lot. It's just been finding the time, and it doesn't really take all that much time to get to either. So I am excited to talk to Varsha again, and I'm hoping that AP will be able to join us perhaps for some of these Sandman discussions, since he did write a master's thesis about the Sandman and knows a heck of a lot about it. So it would be awesome to include him in our future discussions. So yes, lots of fun stuff. I have a great episode, I hope, of Dear Dr. Fantasy coming up. It's been a little while since I filmed one, but this guest I am very excited to be talking to. It's a repeat guest, so I haven't had too many repeat guests. This is only the second now, but I'm going to be talking with Jimmy from the Fantasy Network very soon, and that video will be out probably next week. And I have a discussion scheduled with the Beard of Darkness on his channel, so I'm looking forward to talking with Matt over there. So yeah, more actually stuff, it's just too much to even mention, but lots of fun stuff to come. So that is it from me for now. Until next time.